Having faith is so important when it comes to doing whatever it is that you're doing, when it comes to the job that you're looking for, or when it comes to even the business that you're building. Having faith is so important, and I feel like faith is something that's not practiced enough, especially when it comes to action, right? I feel as though we don't have enough faith in our actions, and therefore we misjudge and we don't take the proper steps in order to move us forward. Because we're always second guessing and we're always overthinking about what the next best move is to make. And in most cases, the next best move to make is the next best move, or is the next move. But you got to step out on that faith. We went to a restaurant today, right? And it was crowded, right? It was really crowded. And we had an appointment that we had to be at about 12. Now, mind you, we got to the restaurant around 10-ish, and we had to wait around 10-ish, and we had to wait like 25 minutes for a table to open up. It was like, cool. So by the time a table opened up, it was already like 11, right? It was already 11. So I was like, okay, cool. At least we got a table. But at first, beforehand, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe we should just go. Maybe we should just leave, because there's no way we're going to be able to get a table now, especially with how packed it is. And then we have to get to this appointment by 12. I don't think we're going to make it, right? And as soon as I said that, our name got called. And I was like, okay, I could just leave. But something told me to just stay. Something told me, hold on, just give it a second. And then our names got called. So we made our way to our table. And I was like, okay, wow, okay. So I'm glad I stayed, because we was literally right there. Like, the opportunity to get that table was right there, and we almost walked out. Like, literally, hand on the door, was about to step out and figure out something else, when all we had to do was wait and be patient, and our time came. Immediately, I thought about how we need to have more faith and, on top of that, more patience when we're doing whatever it is that we're doing, right? You gotta have more faith and you gotta have more patience with whatever it is that you're doing, because you never know when certain opportunities are gonna present themselves. You never know when the come up that you've been waiting for comes around the corner. Because we could be so close and have so many doubts that we get discouraged, and we lose focus, and we lose hope, and we lose faith, and then we think, well, it didn't work, and then move on to the next. When literally all you had to do was just stay there just a few more moments, and your opportunity would have came. A lot of us are going through that and continue to go through that. I understand. That's something that's always going to be with you. That discouragement is always going to be with you, regardless of how big you get in life. That discouraging feeling is always going to be with you. But the thing you have to understand is, how do you dance with this discouragement, right? How do you move around with this discouragement? Because it's already going to be there. You have to empower yourself in a way that discouragement, the voice of discouragement, is so tiny. And you have to lift up the voice of encouragement. You have to lift up the voice of faith. That voice has to be so loud that fear, discouragement, all of those things have little to no voice and no control over you. Because literally we are controlled by our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. And those things dictate to us how we live our lives. And it's so subtle. It happens in so many subtle ways that we don't realize it. And we don't catch it on a conscious level, but our subconscious picks these things up. And therefore they play themselves out in major ways. Because the small ways, like in that instance, that same instance could play out in a major way where an opportunity presents itself, and because I did not wait, because I didn't have faith, because I didn't encourage myself and I discouraged myself more, I stepped out and that opportunity got taken by someone else. So literally you have to be strong and courageous in everything that you do. All you have to do is just hold the faith, right? Just practice it. I know there's a lot of people saying, but Paul Jose, what if I'm going through this right now and nothing is happening right now, and I'm always positive and I'm always doing this and always doing that? Well, you're not doing it right now. You're not positive right now. You're not holding that faith right now. You are literally arguing for your limitations. You are trying to validate the things that happen to you so much that you cloud the judgment of faith, because all you see is what's happening right now in the present moment. And the thing about what it is that you do and what it is that we do here is that it's a long game. None of this happens overnight. None of this happens in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. None of this happens just like that. It takes time and it takes practice and it takes the subtle things, right? Because you could be having this great feeling of faith and encouragement. You could just be feeling so good one day, and then the next day you're not feeling your best. The next day you feel like nothing's going your way and you feel like the world is pitted against you. When really, in reality, that is the time that your true faith kicks in. On those days where you don't feel your best, on those days where you feel like the world is against you, on those days where you feel like you can't make it. That's when all the things that you've practiced when you did feel good start to come into play. But all of this is just practice. If you were somebody that goes to college, you wouldn't go to college if, that's something that you're truly pursuing. You wouldn't go and say, well, this is not yielding the results I want. I wanted to study psychology and this, or whatever it is that you want to study, right? I wanted to study this thing so bad and learn it and master it, but it's taking so long. Why? Because it's a process that you have to go through. If you are somebody that goes to college, you know that there's a process. You don't just go there and instantly get your degree. Nah, it takes time. It takes process. And it takes learning things that you may find useless, but later on become useful to you. Because it's like, well, this has nothing to do with what I'm majoring in. What does this have to do with anything? It's conditioning, it's programming, it's teaching you something else. It's not about the lesson that it's teaching you, but it's about the habit that it's teaching you. Writing papers on things that don't pertain to what it is that you're doing is teaching you the habit of writing papers, right? Everything is about habit, and literally having a strong faith is a habit that you have to practice every single day in every single moment, or in the moments that you can find to create for yourself, right? It's a practice, and you have to be diligent in everything that you practice every single day, especially when it comes to your faith. It is a process, and it's not going to happen overnight. But the one thing that I would like for you to consider is to be patient. Be patient in the process, right? Be patient in the faith, because faith is really having patience in what's to come. Me, I practice this every single day. I do this every single day. And there be some days where I feel like I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to go, or I don't know how to move, right? But I've been practicing this so long that my inner voice that's always encouraging me, telling me to keep going, is so much louder than that doubtful voice. My inner hero is stronger than my inner villain, because I choose to feed my hero and starve my villain. That's my choice. I choose to do that. And you have the same exact choice. But you have to realize it. You have to really, truly realize it and be aware of every single choice that you make in your life, and really see how it's playing an effect on you, right? You have to really see how the choices in your life are playing a significant effect in your reality, how things are playing out, what things you currently have, right, in your reality that help you to evolve and become the greatest version of yourself? If they're there to help you to become the greatest version of yourself, what are these things? What are they? Assess the things that you have in your life and take accountability of the things that are serving you and the things that are not serving you. Because if you're talking in a way that's not serving you, if you're in an environment that's not serving you, if you watch or if you consume through all 5 of your senses things that are not serving you, then you have to take accountability of that. You have to check that. Because you know what is not allowed in your state. There are certain things that aren't allowed in certain states, right? This state may have this, but this state doesn't have that. It's because there are certain things that are not allowed in that state. You have to be the governor of your state. You have to be a sovereign being. You have to understand that there are just certain things that you are not going to allow. It doesn't matter who it is. It could be a family member, a loved one, your kids. It doesn't matter. There are just certain things that you will not allow in your state of being. And until you become more aware and more sovereign and more confident in who you are and what you believe in and what you stand for, the villain is always going to win. Because the villain knows your weakness. The villain knows your heart. The villain knows you better than you know you sometimes. And that's why this villain is always at work, because it knows the potential that you have to be great. So it's constantly working to make sure that you don't reach that greatness. So yeah, it's easy to just sit around and not do anything all day, watch TV, whatever. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But you gotta understand, what are you doing to get yourself to the next level? It's okay to take a break. It's okay to relax. It's okay to enjoy the moment. But understand you have things that you need to do. You have goals that you have to reach. You have to become the greatest version of yourself in the pursuit of these goals. And if you're not in the pursuit of these goals, then who are you becoming? What are you becoming? If you're not satisfied with who you are, then what are you doing to change that? These are questions that you have to ask yourself, and in the kindest way. Don't be so harsh on yourself whenever you ask these questions, because it's not to pick on you. It's not to belittle you. It's to empower you. It's to bring more awareness to your life. And sometimes awareness can feel like that. But put in the right tone, you understand that everything that's happening is for your greater good. So really assess and ask yourself, am I feeding the hero within me, or am I